I am basically born and brought up in Hyderabad. Grew up in Narayanguda. Went to schooling in St. George's Grammar School. And so basically from my nursery to 12th, I studied in St. George's Grammar School. And in terms of my engineering, I went to, after 12th, I did engineering. And from Deccan College of Engineering, Osmania University, I did my electronics and telecommunication engineering from there. And I then went to US to do my master's in computer science, and from there I worked as a software engineer for a little while, and then I went to Academy of Arts San Francisco to learn animation, and then I came back to India and started Green Gold. But cutting back to my childhood days and stuff, I kind of also used to go to YMCA for summer camps in those times, and I think that's where my exposure to arts and animation, those kind of things happened. My family, my father retired as a scientist from Defense Laboratories, DLRL. So he was a senior scientist, and so he retired as a deputy director from DLRL. Then he went on to ECIL. He retired as director technical from there. So he did really well in his career. He was technically very sound, so he guided me a lot of times as a kid. He was the one who introduced me to animation first time. And then I have, in terms of my mom, she's a housewife. In terms of my siblings, I have an elder brother and an elder sister. My elder brother has also very illustrious career. He was CEO of Ericsson India. He was in the US. He was a software engineer. He came back, and now we're working together. So he has been also a role model for me. He's guided me, and I always was the kid who got into trouble, in whether I was in school or college or even masters. And even now, sometimes I get into aggressive decision. I get into trouble, and then he's always there to save me, and also is my friend and guide and everything. And my sister always a backbone, family support and everything. I'm happily married. My wife is Megha. So she's a great support, and she's brought all the luck that I needed to be here today. And I have two wonderful children, Kapil and Tanya. Kapil is about 8 and Tanya is about 5.5. They go to school in Chirek. So I kind of have my animation audience at home. So I kind of test everything that I'm creating on them as well. And this is briefly about my family. So while I was growing up, when I was in 12th, actually after 10th, there was a decision to be made. You take MPC or CEC or BPC, you want to go to medical or thing. And I was good in math, so chose MPC. That means when you choose MPC, the natural next step is engineering. All I knew was my elder brother was already did his MPC in engineering, and he went to US when I was in 12th grade. He's 5 years older than me, so I felt I always wanted to go to the US and see life and stuff. So I felt okay, I should also just do engineering because that is the easiest path to go to US. So when I started doing my engineering, my goal was very clear that I want to go to US, do higher studies, and return back to India. But I was not sure really what I wanted to do. I did engineering because that was a natural next step. There was nothing else to do basically, either BCom or engineering. So I was not smart enough to get into an IIT or something. I didn't even try to do it honestly. But so I did my post engineering. I went to the US, and although I was good at my studies, I had scholarship, everything, but I somehow was always attracted towards entertainment world, movies or animation or this kind of stuff. But I was really, I never knew that actually I'm going to one day pursue this. And I was hoping, which was a dream only. It was on my first day in college in the US, the students. So there's a student orientation program where all the new students are taken for a tour of the campus as well as a tour of Kansas City. So I was very active in whatever there was an event or any kind of activity happening in the universities. I was always the first one to reach there and get involved in everything. So I was pretty fun-loving guy. So I would be everywhere. So So on the first day, I learned a couple of things which were remained back of my head. The first thing was the logo designed by in our university was designed by Walt Disney. So Walt Disney, in beginning of before he started his career, it was in the beginning days of his career, he was actually designed the university logo. So I was like, wow, this logo is designed by Walt Disney. So that I was very excited. Then the second thing is on the tour of the city, Kansas City. So they showed us this is where Walt Disney lived, this is where he studied, this is where he set up his art, he was doing his art, he was practicing. So he was already a legend. So hearing about Walt Disney from people was very exciting for me. And then the next thing that happened was my first job was in Kansas City Library as a student. There's a student job. I was in the front desk of a library and somebody returned me a book on life of Walt Disney. So I checked that book out, and usually I'm not the guy to read books or do anything of that sort. So that was kind of like one of my first few books that I took home and then read everything about him. I was totally inspired by what he achieved, and I felt that what he achieved in those times was phenomenal in nature. It was something which has never been done before. He has achieved that with no access to technology or no access to finance. Like how today you can go and raise finance and you can start a company, getting venture capital funds or bank, or there is something. But in those days, nothing of that sort, that kind of thing did not exist. But he still achieved against all odds. That moment I felt, he was my role model. I said, wow, this is great what he's achieved. I need to follow his footsteps. And I'm not sure, I felt like, I don't know if what I will achieve in my life. I thought even if I achieve 10% of what he did, I think my goal is that I would have been somebody in my life. That's what I felt at that moment. And then after my first semester, I wanted to quit my job, my education in computer science, and I wanted to shift to filming and stuff. So I applied to Florida Film School. I got admission there. But the fees was $20,000. So I thought I should study there. Then obviously I did not have money. I called up my brother. I said, hey, I want to go and study in Florida Film School. And he said, oh, great, congratulations, go for it. Then I said, well, but I need money. So he said, how much? $20,000. He said, why do you think I will pay you $20,000 is not a small money. First thing, if you are doing something right, I would help you. But this is not, I don't think this is the right thing for you to do at this age. So he advised me that you have a scholarship, you have everything going well, why do you want to change now? If you are passionate about whatever you want to do, first finish your basic education. You are here to do your master. Work for a few years. If you still love what you want to still do what you really want to do, then go ahead and do it with your own money. That is what my advice will be. And somehow he always makes sense to me, and I felt like what he was talking was complete sense, logical. So I decided not to go to Florida Film School. I decided to stay and finish my education in Kansas City. But I was really not sure what I wanted to do, whether it was filming or what, I was not clear. So I finished my master's and got a job in Kansas City. I started working. Then things started getting clear to me. I felt that, film school, being a director was not really my goal. I felt like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be doing something in animation space. And I could see things more clearly, and I felt animation would suit me more because you need to do anything in animation, you need to understand technology, you need to be creative as well. I felt I had both the skill set. I was creative, same time I understood technology. So I felt that rather than going to film, which would be more creative and a different beast altogether, I felt this would kind of suit me more. And generally I'm a little lazy guy. I want to be indoor, working in an AC office, that kind of thing. Live action is completely different. So I felt this would suit me more and started pursuing that. Then I went to, so I realized after a while that in Kansas City there is no animation schools that I can study. So I figured that I have to be on east coast of US or west coast, either near New York or Florida, or in San Francisco or near LA to pursue animation. So I wanted to shift my job to those areas and kind of pursue, while studying, while working, pursue education. So then I moved then I applied, and it was near Y2K, so year 2000, and during that time not many companies were hiring, so but I still found a good job because so I worked for Bell Communication Research, which is now called as Telcordia Technologies. I went there in Jersey and started working in New Jersey, and then I planned to apply to NYU to study animation, but suddenly due to Y2K, the nature of the job and all, I had to travel a lot. So I figured that every Monday to Friday I'm actually not in my city. I'm actually traveling to different cities in the US, and the companies, my job needed me to do that because we are giving support to all the companies that we're working with. So I was 1 week in Chicago, 1 week in St. Louis, 1 week in San Francisco, 1 week in Midwest, and Atlanta and various places, but not in town. So I really could not pursue working and studying at the same time. So this went on for about 6 months to a year. Then I realized that if I really want to pursue my goal to study animation, then I really need to quit my job and focus on educating myself and go full-time student. That's the only way. I figured that. So I took a break for 1 semester from my work, and I went and studied at Academy of Art in San Francisco, and so I studied there as much as I can. All the courses I was then I could not, obviously not coming from an art background, I could not find admission to most universities in the US because I could not draw properly. I mean, I could draw, but it was terrible, and I did not have a formal art background and everything, so I was finding it difficult to get a admission to those. But at Academy of Art San Francisco, I had opportunity to meet the dean there, and I was not getting admission, but then I went and requested him, told him that, listen, I'm not interested in getting a degree. All I want to do is go and learn about animation. Then I want to go back to India and set up the animation company. So he kind of believed what I said. I found that what I was thinking about very interesting, and he said, yeah, in India that time had not much happening in the animation space, so he was pretty impressed, and he let me study there for a semester, and then I enrolled and studied. So prior to that, generally I was a slacker. Slacker is somebody who doesn't work hard, just pretending to work. So in my job I was usually very good, so I would finish my job in pretty much 2 hours of the 8 hours working day I had, and the other 6 hours I was actually pretending to work or basically fooling around and stuff. But when I realized that, when I got into animation and I was learning Academy of Art, so from morning 8 to night 2 o'clock I was working hard, which wasn't me before that moment. Then I realized that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I realized that this is from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. I'm working, and about 16-18 hours, and I'm not getting tired, and next day I'm still fresh, and I'm very enthusiastic to go back to learn, which was never happened to me ever in my life. So I realized, hey, this is what I want to do, and I should pursue that. So after finished my semester, I realized that I want to come back to India. 1, I love my country. 2, I saw an opportunity. I realized that 1, Pentamedia, Color Chips, and a few other DQ and a few companies were just getting started, and I felt that this would be a right time for me to come back and start a company in India. And 2, I felt with India being such a large country, one of the things I saw in the US was everybody who came from India to US would always complain about India, how bad it is, how dirty it is, how the roads are. I felt, everybody's but I loved my country, and I felt, and then everybody would say things, then I would tell them, why are you complaining so much about India? You belong to India. Why don't you, do something to make it better instead of just saying? They said, why don't you do it? Why should we do it? We are happy here. You are the one who loves your country. Why don't you go back? And it made sense to me. I felt a sense of pride being Indian. I didn't like anyone talking negative about India. I always felt, I should do something someday. And I felt, India was lacking entrepreneurs, India was lacking leaders. And Hyderabad, while had so much talent, I felt Hyderabad is something special about Hyderabad. They're nice people are nice, they're smart, they're engineers, there is technology guys, but no just the industry, IT industry, everything is just starting. I should not be the one who's just talking, but I should set an example. Basically, I am very simple natured guy, in the sense that it's not like, you know, I'm an extraordinary individual or anything like that, but my greatest strength is that I am a positive thinker. In whatever kind of situation I am in, I feel that this is the best thing that actually, today it may look like I'm in a problem, but tomorrow it is going to turn out to be actually a blessing in disguise. So in general, that the way I look at things is with a positive mindset, and I believe that with attracting a positive mindset, keeping a positive mindset, I think there's nothing in this world that we cannot achieve. I mean, I also like to be doing things which are sounding impossible in nature, and people like, when, okay, nobody can do this in India, this cannot be possible in India. These kind of things are basically when things will change when somebody comes and does it first time, and then everybody wants to do the same thing. So my thinking is kind of try to do, there's nothing impossible, I feel. That's my belief. I am also a bit spiritual in nature. I believe in God. I believe in family relationship. I believe in taking elders' blessings in doing anything. I believe in respecting elders, and I feel all jobs are equal, whether it's an office boy or security guard, accountant or CEO or thing. I'd like to treat everyone with the same way, and not and I also believe that success and failure are the same. You cannot have success without failure, or failure without success. These things will come, and you have to treat the same way. You mean, if I'm successful, I cannot keep happy that day, and second day, next day, something goes wrong, then I'm sitting and crying. That is not me. I treat success and failure the same way. That is basically the way I handle things, and that's the basic nature of me. And I think that is also the reason that today I'm sitting here and talking to you guys. And when that was also a motivation. So once after graduating, after learning animation, I thought maybe I can go and pursue a job in US, in Pixar or certain things, or probably around US. There's so many jobs that time. I felt I should do that, but at the same time I felt like, you know, if I go do that, then I'll be just one among other people, and I felt no, I should not do that. I should come back to India, set up my own company. It may take me, the good advantage I had was age on my side. I was 26 years old. I felt, you know, even if I waste 3-4 years, you know, I have nothing to lose. You know, I can still bounce back, and this thing. I felt I should come back to India, start and do things on my own rather than talking. And so I came back to India, started Green Gold Animation, started with 4 people. So it took 3-4 months to set up operation. So there were early employees that I hired. I hired 4 people who, at that time, people in animation was pretty rare. So we could not find people who were available, ready to go. So while I was studying at Academy of Arts, San Francisco, I kind of thought, okay, I realized that I want to come back to India and start. And I was also fairly close to my family. I want to be with my family, my parents, my brother, and everyone here. I loved India and I wanted to be here. So when I was thinking of that, I was thinking, you know, I must come up with a name that is universal, because ultimately I want to be a global company.
Yes.
And I felt, you know, I didn't want to have, you know, a name which is very difficult for pronouncing or anything like that for the world. So I felt, you know, I must come up with a colorful name or something which is sounds, once you hear it, you should remember. And one of the first names I thought of was Green Gold, and the first company name we had was Green Gold Graphics. But I somehow was only liking this name, and to also I feed it to my friends, to my parents, my brother, everyone. I sent these names. What do you think? What is the best name among these 10 names? Everybody chose Green Gold. So my friends, irrespective of where you are, everybody liked the name Green Gold, and somehow I instinctively liked that name. There's no meaning to that. There's no logic to that. There's nothing. It's just the name that came to my head, and I put it. Later on, I tried to come up with an explanation that Green Gold means this, but somehow I always want to tell the truth that this is how the name came, and that's how we got started. So the first office was near AOC Gate, Kirki Gate actually. So in Secunderabad. So it was a residential. So I used to live in that house, and we moved from. So So I mentioned to you that we lived in Narayanguda. So till 89 we lived in Narayanguda. Then we moved to Secunderabad because my dad was working in ECIL. So we bought this house which is nearer to for him. So we moved to Secunderabad, and so the rest of my teenage life, so from 15 years onwards to my about 16 years to 21, I grew up in Secunderabad. So during these, so post that in about 99, my parents bought another house and we all moved into a different house. So in around 2000 beginning, they moved to a different house in West Maratpalli. So this house was vacant. So once my dad heard from me that I want to come back and start a company, he felt, maybe I should start in this house so that initially the rent factor doesn't come for me. He felt, the startup companies. So he's very well read and well traveled. So he understood about entrepreneurship and everything. He felt that, if my work, expenses related to electricity and power and rent and these kind of things are taken care, I can actually focus on the main thing than get distracted. So he offered, why don't you take and start in this house? I felt the location is really odd. I'm in Secunderabad somewhere, the industry is in Jubilee Hills, so high tech city. It didn't make sense, but I felt that it makes sense to start there and then we can figure out. So we started in a house. So the house where I spent some I lived there as a teenager and so I modified the house into an office, and which was also kind of a trend there, startup, people were starting companies in houses, and we did that before. So initially I thought we'll use the office for 1 year or 6 months, but it went on to be an office for us from 2001 till 2007 actually 2008. So we moved for 7 years, we were there, and 2008 we moved to Begumpet office, and to this office where I'm currently sitting, we moved here in about 3 years ago in 2015. So this has been our journey. So when we initially when we started in 2001, so we had very simple goal that we must produce content, kids content for Indian children, where you can identify with the Indian kid should be able to identify with the character. Like when I was growing up or whatever, we always were looking out at the West. There were cartoons from Japan or US, and especially Disney shows like Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, to Spider-Man, to Superman, or some Japanese cartoons or some Japanese shows like Giant Robot. We were all looking up at those, but somehow there are many things we couldn't identify or connect with ourselves with those shows. And I grew up in a where our family had exposure to international, so I could still relate with certain things because I used to ask my father and he would know. But I felt, what about a common Indian boy who is growing up in a village? How can he connect or identify with these characters? He cannot. So always in my back of mind I've said that we need to create content for Indian kids with which they can relate to, show Indian values, Indian festivals or whatever. I've always felt that. So first chance was, my goal was to go and create Indian shows. So, but there was only one kids channel back at that time, that was Cartoon Network. When we went and pitched the idea to them, they clearly told that, right now we don't have budgets to make an Indian show. This is what we pay. We just simply acquire content which is already in international, we play it in India. That's how our model is. And I knew that I compared with the television industry in India when it started, like in 90s when the Star, all these cable TV started operating, to the Ekta Kapoors of the world, they started coming. I kind of studied their model and I felt like the animation demand will come, but that took a long time to come. So it was really difficult when we started. There was no market, so we had to basically do anything and everything under the sun. So we started doing whatever work that came our way. So we worked for real estate clients, we worked for ad agencies, we worked for software companies. So we did anything from visiting card design to brochure designs to website to shoot events. Even simple thing like shooting events. We even did marriage functions. We went and did it because so I was shooting with a camera called a 3CCD camera of Sony. So that was one of the first digital cameras probably in Hyderabad. So any event is there, I could not find a cameraman who could operate it initially. Later on they all got a hang of it, and then we used to shoot in that one. And I was kind of doing anything and everything under the sun to survive. The initial industry there was nothing there in the market. I realized that, and my option was that survive today, and then fight tomorrow, was basically the attitude. And I realized that it's going to be much more difficult journey that I imagined in my head. I imagined all the success stories. There will be a lot of easy things will happen, the company will flourish, but that was not the reality. I realized that at least there is about 7 to 10 years of hard work that has to be put in. But I really knew that this is something that I want to do and I want to achieve, and it was easy way. My dad was getting worried, you're not making any money, how do you survive, who will marry you, and those kind of things. And I felt he was pursuing me, go and take a job and you will make much more money than what you are. You have such a good educational background, you have masters and thing. And people were my contacts for all in software, they're all calling, hey Rajiv, I heard you're in India, we are setting up operation Hyderabad, this is the package, why don't you come and join as CEO? Or they were offering me all kinds of things. It was really tempting to go and take them, and that was the easy path. Same time, I'm seeing that all my friends are doing fabulous. They are all making, moving in Audis and all kinds of lovely cars, and I was having a Santro car, and I was struggling to pay my EMI for my car, and all kinds of things. But I knew that this is a temporary situation. I knew that I have to not compare myself with anybody else. People may compare with themselves with me, I don't care. But I felt that I have to see my goal. Everybody will have their time will come and my time will come. That was very simple things that I told myself, because there was pressure from everything. Peer pressure is there. My friends are doing very well, which is great. I was happy for them, but they didn't look at me the same way as they would have some time back. So there were the challenges, personal level, family level, professional level. But I felt, I'm not proving anything. This is for me. I'm proving things to myself, nobody else. So that's how it started for me. And we went from doing small things to TV ads to live action show. We did our first show, which Doordarshan later on picked up. So I wrote a show and idea and conceptualized and created a show. Somebody else produced it. We took it to Doordarshan. The show went on air. The show rated very well. It was the number 3 rated show in India. It rated higher than Shaktiman when Shaktiman was at its peak. And it came in paper in Times of India, in that page, the entertainment page. My friend called me and said, hey Rajiv, your show's name is in paper. I said, what? Are you serious? And then when I looked in the paper, it was actually there. There was an article, and then suddenly my confidence grew 10 times. I felt, hey, there's something we know. We were not making money on that show, but the show was the top show rated and in India, and I felt really good about it. And the show was called Bongo, and it was way ahead of its time. So we were having hybrid, live action characters and animated character, and way ahead of its time. And even till today in 2018, there's no such show in Indian television. Probably went too early for that. Then I realized that if you don't get your timing right, you are not going to get anything with your show. And that show taught many things, the market realities, how we were imagining all kinds of prices in the market, but it was not true. What market pays, market realities, how people are, what they say, what they mean, those kind of all lessons I learned with this one show. And I also realized that I need to focus on one thing, 2D animation or 3D animation, and or TV or VFX, or there's so many areas I could take in. I felt best bet for us was to focus on 2D animation. So things not going very well for us. We shut down our 3D division and we just focused on 2D division. So we grew with that. During that show, we grew our company, the strength, from 20 people to 60 people. And then I realized that if I was having, it was impossible to pay salaries to all of them. We were getting delayed. I said, why burden everybody? Why spoil their careers? They were too loyal to me. They didn't want to go anywhere. But I felt that I shouldn't do that. I have to be realistic and I have to cut down. And it was really one of the most hard decisions for us to kind of put lock on one of our offices. We had to shut down our 3D division, downsize and get rid of some people in 2D division also. We downsized to 20-25 people in the company of the people whose salaries we could afford. So we kind of toned it down because we were not getting paid on time. There were so many challenges. We have job, we have work full time, but nobody is paying us on time. They will pay us. They will say, oh, 2 months, come Monday, next Monday. That Monday never came till today. So it was really hard time when people promise you something and don't deliver. And I was a guy, we never made contracts, we never read invoices. I realized that, it's not about people don't mean what they say. That's when I started realizing and understanding. And then I realized that I cannot work with private people and stuff like that. And I really had to work with corporates. And I realized that if I have to work with Cartoon Network. That was the only channel, and then Disney also started in the meanwhile. I felt I have to work with one of these companies when they are new to the industry, and I have to be one of the first people to be working with them. Then later on I can dictate terms, but right now I was not in a position. So I started developing shows for them. So we started pitch some shows, and one of the Vikram Betal they liked. Chhota Bheem also I pitched, but Vikram Betal they felt is more easier to do because it's already known story. So we did 2004, we signed a deal with Cartoon Network. We didn't sign, they gave a letter of intent, okay, you make and bring it to us and we will buy it at this price. So even though we knew that we will lose money in that, I felt that I need to make it, because if I have to look at the future, I have to start somewhere. So there were two divisions in the company. One did services for corporates. So where one worked with ad agencies and software or whatever work they came. The other was basically focusing on producing content, producing IP. So we continued this model for 4-5 years. We were doing both, and whatever money came, we made in services, we were just using to pay the salaries here. And many times we couldn't pay salaries. So at some point then I knew that I can't go on too long like this. And one of my clients I was working with, one of my good clients, Samir, who was also became my friend in the meantime, he offered to be partners in the company. So he was getting in some investment. I felt that if I continue to work like this, I will be just not working on my dream and I will be working somewhere else. And I decided I should go with what he's offering. So, and I liked him also. So we became partners, and still today we are partners. And from Green Gold Graphics, which was a proprietary concern, we converted into Green Gold Animation in 2004. And and that's when around the same time the Cartoon Network deal happened, and then we converted we produced Vikram Betal. Post Vikram Betal, we tried to make Chhota Bheem again, but they wanted us to make Krishna. So we produced Krishna movie series for Cartoon Network. It went on to become a huge hit, and it was top rated shows of those year. Post that, so 2006 and 7 we produced Krishna, and 2007 we signed Chhota Bheem, and 2008 Chhota Bheem went on air. And from there's no looking back for our company. It was game changer, not just for Green Gold, but for entire animation industry, because the animation industry needed a hit. So prior to that, there were not many Indian shows being created. But once Chhota Bheem was a hit, then every other channel started producing. More Indian content was being produced, which was good. So we went on to sign more deals. We started producing Mighty Raju, Krishna Balram, Love Kush, Chor Police, Arjun, Prince of Bali, and many other shows. So till today we produce about 12 shows, but of course we are still known by Chhota Bheem because that is the most popular character, not just for us but for entire India. And so we did some good things. So while the show Chhota Bheem, we knew it was a hit, we diversified our company into licensing and merchandising. We started making comics and DVDs and merchandise such as t-shirts, toys, merchandise like school bags to things. So we diversified, and that unit also became pretty profitable. And with Chhota Bheem being such a vast hit, that L&M business also grew, and simultaneously we kept growing. So year on year from 2008 to 2000, so the first 7 years were terrible for the company. And just one incident that happened, which may be interesting, is that just 10 days before Chhota Bheem went on air, we were moving from our old office to new office. So we built a 15,000 square feet area Begumpet office. We've just 10 days before inauguration, about 4 days. April 1st was the inauguration. On 26th March at night, there was a short circuit or something happened, and the entire building got burned down. So the fire started on the first floor. So we had ground plus 4 floors. The fire started on the first floor. The fire spread upward. So first, second, third completely burned down. Fourth was partially burned, luckily the fire engine was across end of the lane. There was a fire engine station, but unfortunately it was 12 o'clock Saturday night when the fire came, and by the time the fire engine came within 45 minutes or 1 hour they came, and luckily they came, otherwise there would have been a lot more damage. So fire was extinguished within an hour, but there was damage was already done. The fire spread like because of all things. Luckily we didn't move, or there was no equipment or anything, but in the meantime we were literally shattered. I was thinking, how many other problems are we going to face? First thing is we don't have money. Second, whatever money we could take a loan and kind of build this, that also is wiped out, and some other investors who were supposed to come in at that point decided not to come in. They felt, if whatever we will put in Green Gold will become ashes. So they all backed out, because with Chhota Bheem I thought I'll get investment from some companies and stuff, some financial investors and things, because we needed more to expand. But unfortunately everybody turned away. Suddenly everybody, after the fire was news, it was in the paper, it was in the TV news channels and stuff. So everybody backed out, whoever was deciding to. But the good thing happened that we did not lose our spirit. We said, people said, advice, why don't you just you have leased this place, let it go back to small office and start thing. I said, no, I'm not going back. I know there's a fire accident. I know we have whatever we have built is gone, but we are not going to go backward. We are only going to go forward. So we kind of redid the interiors and all. Slowly, we took one step at a time, one floor at a time. We took some loans or whatever, and in 10 days time, so I was going through all this on April 6th. So the fire happened on 26th March, April 6, 2008. The Chhota Bheem went on air, and within 10 days or 2 weeks we got the ratings, and the show did extremely well. And so within a month, I went through so many emotions, from failure to success to failure to success. And suddenly, and we thought, and Cartoon Network, Turner guys called us. So the show went on Pogo, which is owned by Turner. They called for a meeting, and they said, we want to make one more season of Chhota Bheem. So I went to them, I said, listen, I don't have any money, I'm broke, my office is burnt, I'm not in a situation to make more episodes, I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. Then they said, what is wrong? This is such a big show, the ratings are great, what do you need? I said, I cannot produce at the money you are giving, because it's a loss-making production. Nobody is coming forward to help us in this situation because it's a loss-making production. Second, you will pay after we produce a whole episode, so how do we survive? So they were nice enough to understand the situation. They agreed to give us they gave us a bigger contract, increased our money, and also gave us advance money to support our growth. So the next 2-3 years, with their support, we could really build the brand of Chhota Bheem, and we turned around the company from really bad shape, from nothing, but basically from ashes to what you see today. Today we are employing about 1400 people, and we have offices in Hyderabad, Bombay, Rajahmundry, Kolkata, Pune, for 5 offices, and then we also have LA office, Los Angeles. In heart of Beverly Hills, we have an office space. We employ only 15-20 people there, but they're all creative people. So we are building for the next level. We are getting ready for the next level. We went through a lot of tough time, but we also went through a lot of great times. With Chhota Bheem came success and name and everything, and people loving the show. We knew Chhota Bheem will be a hit, but we never imagined this kind of success. So things changed for us. We were completely overwhelmed with all the thing. Till today, I didn't let success go to my head, which at least I think, I don't know, I have to ask others to really see if I am changed or what. But I personally feel that I've seen life in the way that things can turn any moment. So I really don't want it to. I want to understand that, and I want my people who I work with understand that, and take one step at a time. There is no shortcuts in life. Success is never going to come overnight, and same way, but it can go overnight away. And that's something I have learned, and I also realized that ups and downs are a common thing in life, and then you need to keep at it all the time. So coming to Chhota Bheem, why we have chosen Chhota Bheem is like when we started making shows, the market demand was mythology. Market wanted Ramayana or Mahabharata or a Vikram Beta like what we did, or a Krishna. I wanted to make original stuff which is away from this, but the market was not ready. So I came up with an idea that we need to make something which is in between both, which goes away from mythology, it's original, same time it has Indian roots and stuff. My favorite character as a kid when I was growing up was Bhim. I heard stories from my grandparents, from my parents to my uncles and all. Bhim is so strong, he can lift boulders and throw, he'll eat so much. And that's how I was a poor eater, so they used to tell me. I kind of still had it in me in my thing. And I realized that when this is what kids want. Boys want to be strong. And what about if we take Bhim's character and not grow up in Mahabharata era because it's too complicated for children to follow. Take his characteristics, take his attribute, put him in a different atmosphere altogether, and he's got nothing to do with Mahabharata being, but he's got that strength, physical strength, and give him his own attributes and other things around it and building, and let's see what happens. And that's how the idea was conceived, and it was a runaway hit. So Bhim is inspired from Mahabharata's Bhim, but it's got nothing to do with that. I mean, today it's really, I feel very proud when like Ganesh Nimarjan also, I saw one image, Bhim putting Ganesha on his shoulder and taking that kind of thing. In Kolkata, I've seen a lot of pandals which have Chhota Bheem theme and then there's Ganesha. So much has happened. So today, it feels very nice that Bhim has been accepted by the audience, and not only that, it is cut across all barriers. It's not like rich people watch or poor people watch. Children, no matter what region, religion, or whatever they belong, from India to Pakistan to Bangladesh to Sri Lanka to Nepal to Indonesia, Bhim has been accepted, and everyone loves it. So that we've been very glad that has happened, and today we are whatever because of that one idea of Chhota Bheem. Today our companies, we're glad that Chhota Bheem happened, and of course our partners Turner has been played a very important role, and because of them we are here. And more importantly, the people it's not just a one-man show, Green Gold is not about Rajiv Jalaga. It is about so many people who have supported and whose name comes on television every day. That's fabulous for them as well. And those guys are basically the heart of the company, there are many pillars for such a big company, and it is them. The true success belongs to them, and I'm just lucky to be having face of the company, but there are many people from my family to my partner to employees to a lot of them are still there, or if they are not here, they're directly or indirectly working with Green Gold somewhere or the other. So I think success has many fathers. It's the writers, the voices guys, the music guy, the music director. So many people made this what it is today. So for Green Gold, I feel to come here today in 2018, we're in September 2018. So the journey from 2000 to 2018 has been one kind of phase. But honestly, I think we were barely scratching the surface of what we want to achieve. We want to be a global company. I feel that there needs to be an Indian company out there in the market where we are able to compete globally. So there is today, or if you take all the top companies in the world, none of them are Indian. Of course, the Indian Reliance and Ambanis are there, but I mean like a company that comes out of nowhere and comes. I want that to be Green Gold, to be there, the Apple of the world or the Disney of the world or the future. And I think India deserves that. Indians are smart, they are working hard, they are honest, they are transparent. We are doing everything. We are talented. We are technically, capable. We are everything. So I think my goal is that we take this company to the world. We should be known as a global company, which has got headquarters based out of Hyderabad, India. That will be a dream come true for me, and I hope that we can achieve that.